Hello guys, Greg back with another video. So today I'm looking at some more criminally underrated fragrances for men. I explained in the first video in this series that underrated can mean several things for the purposes of these videos. So it can mean that the fragrance is one that just gets little love or appreciation compared to other fragrances from the same house. Could mean that the fragrance is one that's rarely ever talked about on YouTube and Facebook. Or it could just mean that I personally think the fragrance is generally underrated. It's all based on my opinions. It's just based on fragrances that I own. The list isn't in any type of order at all. I've got 10 more fragrances here today, so I'm going to jump straight into it. So the first one that we've got is from the house of Dior. Now this is one of two men's fragrances from the house that generally seem to get forgotten. The other one featured in the first part of this video series, and that is Dune Pour Homme. And this one is called Dior Higher. Now this one is all about pear. There's a ton of pear in this fragrance. It's also got peach in here, so it really is very fruity. It's also woody and spicy, and it's got a very nice musky base. Definitely deserves more talk. It's got that Dior quality of this fragrance, but surprisingly never hear about it. So that's the first one, that's Higher from Dior. So the next one we've got, this is a really nice woody leather fragrance. This is called Fan di Fendi, and it's from the house of Fendi. This fragrance is supposed to represent a young, high-flying city guy, and Fendi spent quite a lot of money trying to make this a hip, trendy fragrance. They used Mark Ronson in all of the marketing as the face of this fragrance. Now, does it smell like a high-flying city guy? Not sure, but it definitely smells very clean, very classy, and I could see a well-dressed guy in the city wearing this for sure. It's not a groundbreaking fragrance, but it's very solid, and it definitely should get more talk than it does. Next up, one from a house that I really like, but really doesn't really get a lot of talk or really get the credit it deserves. And this is from the house of Mont Blanc, and this is called Star Walker. It's a very fresh, clean, uplifting fragrance, great in the heat. Get about 8 hours on my skin from this one. Other people say they don't get such good performance. It's a woody, spicy fragrance. It's got citrus and musk, a little bit of ginger in there, which gives it a bit of zing. But as with most of the Mont Blancs, as I said, it really doesn't get much attention. So that's Star Walker. Now I've got one from a house that doesn't really produce many good fragrances, in my opinion. But this one is good, and this is from the house of Ralph Lauren. And this is called Big Pony No. 3, or some people call it Big Pony Green. This is a very fresh green woody scent. It's got some musk, it's got some bergamot, and it's got some lemon, but it's really dominated by two notes, mint and ginger. They're what you're going to smell when you smell this fragrance. It's aimed at the outdoors type of guy, probably for the more younger crowd, but I'm 40 and I rock this with no problem at all. Good performance for me on this as well. Get about 8 hours out of this. Again, one that you really don't hear talked about. That's Ralph Lauren Big Pony. Next one, this is an absolute beaut. I've reviewed this one, so I'll leave a link in the video description for my full review. But this one is Eau de Rochard Homme from the house of Rochard. Really cool bottle on this fragrance as well. So this is a very fresh, juicy lemon, iced tea, a little bit of rose, and then it's got a woody, mossy, musky base. I don't think this is really one for under 30s. It's got a very classic, mature style to it. Hardly any reviews of this on YouTube at all. Should get much more attention. It's a really excellent scent. That's Eau de Rochard Homme. Next, we've got one of my newest purchases, actually a tester I've got here. This is from the house of Cartier, and it's called Pasha de Cartier. And Pasha means emperor, and that's actually quite a fitting name for this fragrance. I'm currently in the testing phase of this for a review, so I don't want to say too much about it, but it's a green, spicy, woody, aromatic fragrance, but it's definitely one that needs to be tried. So that is Pasha by Cartier. Right, now we've got one from a very old British company, a company that's more associated with shaving and grooming products than it is with perfumes. And the house is G.O.F. Trumper. And this fragrance is called Sandalwood Cologne. Now, if you like Chanel Egoist, you've got to try this fragrance. It's essentially a sandalwood and vanilla fragrance, but it's got some citrus at the top. It's got some florals such as geranium and carnation, a little bit of rose. But it's a very well made, very refined gentleman's fragrance. But again, never seems to get talked about at all. But I recommend that one. That's Sandalwood Cologne. Right, next. One that for some reason that I cannot understand, has become a bargain bin fragrance. It's always reduced in store, can be picked up for silly prices online, but I think it's a superb fragrance. Rarely gets any talk on YouTube, rarely appears in top 10 lists. This is from Jean Paul Gaultier, and it's called Coca Rico. This has got a very authentic cocoa note running right throughout its core. It's got vetiver, it's got patchouli, and it's got cedar. Now at the top of this, it's got fig leaf, which gives it a kind of freshness which contrasts with that cocoa, and it works really well. But great smell, great performance, criminally underrated, this one. Coca Rico. Next, we've got two more to go. So this one is from the House of Creed, and this is called Vetiver Geranium. Not much talk about this one, but I think it's one of the best men's releases from the house in recent times. This is from the Aqua Original line, which is a lineup of lighter, fresher fragrances. Not that Creed are exactly known for their deep, dark fragrances, but so this is one again that I'm testing for a review, so I don't want to go into it too much, but what I'll say is it's far more about geranium than it is about vetiver. It's got lemon, lime, cedar and musk. It's a very uplifting, clean, fresh, hot weather fragrance. That's vetiver geranium. And finally, we've got one from a house that's never featured in any of my videos in the past, and the bottle's not going to feature in this video because I've spent about 2 hours, believe it or not, looking for this bottle to show in the video, and I cannot find it. But I'm still going to talk about it. So, the house is Aramis, and the fragrance is called Calligraphy Rose. You've got to be a rose fan to enjoy this fragrance, but if you are a rose fan, the quality of it versus the current street price is crazy. It's great. It's a very resinous, musky, deep rose fragrance. I'm not a rose fan, but I can appreciate just how good this one is. Never hear it talked about, maybe because it's an Aramis fragrance and it's not really a fashionable house, I don't know. But rose fans, get on this one because it's superb. I'm sorry I didn't have the bottle to show you guys. So there you go, that's the end of the video. I will have at least 2 more instalments of this video to come. Loads more content coming up as well. So please leave a comment if you've got any other underrated gems you can think of. If you enjoyed the video, please give a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please do. Many thanks. Guys, if you are in the UK and you want to sample any fragrances featured in this video, you can purchase from my online store, which is fragrancesamplesuk.com. If you're outside of the UK and you want to try any of these fragrances, you can email me at info@fragrancesamplesuk.com. Thank you.